Have you ever been told to be kind, to give more of yourself, to put others' needs first? Maybe you've tried to embody compassion and understanding, only to find that people start taking advantage of your kindness. It's a frustrating experience, isn't it? And it brings up a big question: how can you be kind without becoming someone who's easy to use, someone who's always bending over backward for others? Today, we're diving into a story that answers this very question, and it comes from the profound wisdom of Buddha. This story about a king, a wise monk, and a misunderstood snake offers us timeless lessons. It's about finding the balance between kindness and strength, learning that real compassion doesn't mean letting people walk over you. In fact, true kindness sometimes means knowing when to set boundaries. Buddha's story begins with a king who, after following the Buddha's teachings, has transformed from a harsh ruler into a kind and compassionate leader. But instead of seeing this change as positive, he's now filled with regret. Crime is rising in his kingdom, people are no longer afraid to break the law, and he feels that everyone is exploiting his kindness. Frustrated, he goes to Buddha for guidance, asking why his kindness seems to be making his rule weak rather than strong. In response, Buddha shares a story about a snake that lived in a small village. This snake was fierce and known for its deadly bite. People feared it, and no one dared to go near the tree where it lived. One day, a wise monk passed by and decided to meditate under the snake's tree. When the snake saw the monk, it slithered out, hissing and ready to strike. But the monk was calm, undisturbed by the snake's aggression. Instead, he spoke to the snake with kindness, saying, "Why are you so full of anger? If you let go of this rage, you'll be able to live peacefully." The snake was surprised. No one had ever spoken to it this way. Strangely moved, the snake decided to take the monk's words to heart. It vowed never to bite anyone again. It even began to see people with compassion. But things didn't go as planned. When the villagers noticed the snake was no longer aggressive, they started to torment it. They teased it, hurt it, and left it in a miserable state. The snake, weak and wounded, was utterly disillusioned. Sometime later, the monk returned to the village and found the snake in this pitiful state. The monk asked, "What happened to you?" The snake replied, "You told me to be kind and not to bite. I did as you said, but look at me now, I'm constantly hurt, and everyone treats me terribly." The monk responded, "I told you not to bite, but I never told you to stop defending yourself. There is a difference between aggression and self-protection." Buddha explained to the king, kindness is powerful, but it is not the same as weakness. To rule your kingdom effectively, you must protect your people and uphold order. Just as the snake needed to defend itself, you must find the strength to discipline those who break the law. Show compassion, but let others understand that there are consequences for misdeeds. At this point, let's take a pause and think about the world we live in. Many of us are taught that kindness means being selfless, that compassion means always saying yes, and that a good person doesn't let anyone down. But Buddha's story suggests a different approach. It reminds us that kindness without boundaries can lead to personal suffering. Let's think about times in our own lives where kindness might have backfired. 1. At work. Imagine you're known as the nice one in the office. You're the person who always agrees to stay late, help out with extra work, and cover for colleagues. At first, this feels great because people appreciate you. But over time, you realize that others are piling their responsibilities on you. When you finally say no, people act surprised or even disappointed, as if your kindness was something they were entitled to. This is what happens when we don't set boundaries around our kindness. People begin to see it as a weakness rather than a strength. 2. In relationships, perhaps you've been in a friendship or romantic relationship where you were always the forgiving one, always the one willing to compromise. Maybe you told yourself that love means making sacrifices, being understanding no matter what. But after a while, it's as if your kindness is being taken for granted. The other person expects you to put up with behavior that doesn't respect your needs or values. In relationships, when kindness is mistaken for weakness, it can lead to resentment, frustration, and an imbalanced dynamic. 3. With family, even in our families, the urge to be kind and accommodating can sometimes cause us to overextend ourselves. Say you're always the one handling family responsibilities, organizing gatherings, or taking care of relatives. Everyone appreciates it, but over time, it can feel like your efforts are expected, rather than valued. You may feel trapped in a role where you're always giving, but rarely receiving. So, how can we apply Buddha's teaching to our modern lives? Here are a few principles we can take from the story of the snake and the king. 1. Kindness with boundaries. Just like the snake had to learn to hiss without biting, we need to set boundaries while maintaining kindness. Setting limits doesn't make you any less compassionate, it simply means you respect yourself as much as you respect others. True kindness includes the courage to say no when something doesn't align with your values or well-being. 2. Balance compassion with self-respect. Compassion is not about letting people use you, it's about understanding others while also respecting your own needs. If you find yourself constantly giving in, ask yourself if this is really kindness or if it's a fear of confrontation or rejection. Real compassion doesn't require self-sacrifice. 3. Use authority wisely. Whether you're a leader, a parent, or just managing relationships, there are times when being firm is a way of being kind. Imagine a manager who always lets employees slack off. They may think they're being kind, but in reality, they're creating an environment without accountability. Being kind as a leader sometimes means setting high expectations and being firm about them. Buddha's teaching, in the end, is about understanding the complementarity of strength and compassion. Kindness does not mean giving up one's power, and compassion does not mean sacrificing one's integrity. These two qualities go hand in hand. When you're clear about your boundaries, people around you learn to respect you, not just like you. Buddha's message is as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. Whether you're dealing with colleagues, friends, family, or even yourself, remember, true kindness is a balance. It's a harmony of giving generously without abandoning your sense of self. As we wrap up, let's reflect on the story of the king, the monk, and the snake. The world can sometimes make us feel that kindness means weakness, that to be gentle is to be vulnerable. But Buddha's teaching reveals the opposite, that real kindness is powerful and resilient. So, the next time you feel that you're being too soft, remember Buddha's wisdom. Be kind, yes, but be strong too. Keep your heart open, but protect it as well. This balance, Buddha teaches, is where we find peace, respect, and true compassion. Thank you for watching, and I hope this story brings you strength in kindness. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe for more profound insights on personal growth and philosophy.